best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best? 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 What's the second best?
It's Friday and the markets are dumping. I'm feeling great. Just had a thick Mexican dish here with my man, Kelly Kellum. We're riding into the sunset, baby. I'm feeling good. Kelly, it seems the market isn't feeling as good as I am. Okay, we have to be real. I saw a little bit of bad PCE. I mean, you would have thought the PCE data was bullish for risk off. Altcoins, not looking so hot either, right? You see that chart behind Kelly? It's a bad chart. It's going down. Things are problematic. This is the time to lock in. I am getting close to entry points, re-entry points on Morpho. I'm still standing on my business. Kelly, how are you holding up as we're heading into the weekend, yet the bags seem to be heading into the 7th level of hell?
If there was a way to teach you patience, it would be to be in the crypto market in 2025. It's just frustrating as it can be. I mean, you know what I even saw, Drew, was I noticed this right here on the Binance chart. It doesn't show up on the other ones. Check it out. What do you notice? No wick there. Kind of a weird sort of wick, boom, all the way up. But what I'm really seeing here is, let me see if I can find it right here. We're seeing conflicting stories everywhere. You know, even me, I'm so bullish in 2026. We're seeing whales accumulating in massive amounts, but the market and prices are going down. So why is that? I think everybody's wondering. PCE data came in. It's further supporting this idea of a rate cut. But check this out, everybody. 11,588% liquidation imbalance. What the hell are they talking about? Well, when you zoom down here, it basically shows that this imbalance is essentially how crowded the long side of the trade was. Everybody is really seeing what is likely to happen in 2026. And I think people keep trying to catch the bottom. They're going leverage long, and there's a massive imbalance. That's what that imbalance means, of how many people are leveraged long versus leveraging short. And so in that case, you know, $1 liquidations from shorts all the way up to $115. So basically that's that 11,500%. And this only happens when leverage is heavily stacked in one direction. So it seems to me, and remember, Drew, we've been talking about this a lot. We are on the cusp. We're already here. We're in the markets. We should be going up, but we're just now at that stage where the biggest financial behemoths in the history of the world ever, in the entire time of civilization, are getting involved in Bitcoin. Registered investment advisors, Bank of America, Fidelity, all of them. So it seems like they're just trying to wash as many people out as possible before we get into 2026. So can we go lower? I don't know. What's your thoughts here, Drew?
Yeah, I mean, we absolutely can. I want to make sure everyone knows where to find us as well before I get too deep into this, because I am causing a lot of chaos on the blockchain basement as well as the arena. Follow me at Druth Crypto. Kelly Kellum, you're running the shows at night on the Discover Crypto channel as well for the Twitter. Kelly is at Kelly Kellum. So make sure to follow us. Kelly's got this new real life picture. Yesterday, we talked about a vibe check right into the middle of the guts of this W pattern, and boy, howdy did we get it. All right, we absolutely got it. The quant was saying lower this morning. It felt weird, but also kind of normal to short XRP. Had a great move. Shorting XRP. Did close that trade out mid-show this morning. We're actually working on building out some automated integrations. I want to get into those calls, every single one of them, while I'm sleeping. So I'm excited about that. And a huge shout out, because to get in order to make more Tether with us, we have this quant. He's locked in the basement. Okay. And He comes out with these really weird short calls when you're at the bottom of a range that I wouldn't have taken, but I've been taking them and making a lot of tether, even as the market's cascading down, which is why I have such a comfortable, wonderful glow to my face right now watching this market. You can get into the Discord for free. If you go here and register to participate, we have a link for 2bit and Discover Crypto in the description. We got 19 days to get in on this. If you deposit and trade, you enter to win $10,600, and you get free access to a quant that has helped me print a lot of tether on this choppy market. It's interesting that the ratio of longs to shorts that you highlighted at the beginning of the show is the way it is, Kelly. It's kind of confounding to me because when I look at the coin glass, the general liquidity coin glass chart, it shows that there's pain for shorts right now, but shorts are the ones that are seemingly getting paid. Now, I don't know if you may or may not have the answer to this, but why would that? Because obviously Binance and that wick, they were washing out shorts, right? That wick that you showed it at the beginning of the show. This map shows that there's just pain for shorts. Like, does this market structure make sense to you? Because I know we were talking about the W pattern yesterday. I don't know if I can quite trust the liquidation map for the time being because things are kind of an upside down world right now.
Well, I mean, what I'm seeing here is looking at the charts. We have this massive falling wedge. Okay, we broke down out of it, came back up, tested this. I talked about this in the Sunday night video. Everybody make sure you're watching the weekend videos. Drew, DZ does a great job. Drew does a great job. I do the Sunday videos, kind of looking at what's going on, setting up the week and looking a bit more into 2026. And I talked about this exact level as a potential rejection point. And for the bulls, it would be a good thing to be rejected here and come down and form a higher low, which we have done once, came back up. We have done twice so far or in the process of it. The question is going to be, we have 5 days now. Next week, we have the FOMC meeting with the next announcement of the rate cuts. But then also beyond that, we have, I think everything feels like it's just on the wire, just sitting on the edge. And Bitcoin is hyper sensitive to these global liquidity situations that are going on. We had a great discussion last night in the X spaces with Bitcoin IRA and Sammy Loyal, Jenna X was there, Drew, myself, talking about what's going on and the fact that, one, we're still on that hesitation phase of risk because we need clarity that we're not going to have another government shutdown. We need an indication that things are going to be good for another 6 months or a year when they do another continuing resolution or an adjusted one. Beyond that, we also have all these issues with Japan, with the yen carry trade fear, also stimulus going in, but they may raise rates over there in Japan. We don't care about that. We're in Bitcoin and Mobcoin. I want to know what all these things are linked now. You guys realize we've waited for crypto to get to the global stage. This is the global stage. Everything is connected. Now, crypto is the one asset globally that is a 24/7, 365 market, and Bitcoin specifically, such high liquidity. It's sort of like the canary in the coal mine, both the first actor on the way up and the first actor on the way down, especially when the markets are closed or overnight trading right now with everything focused on what's happening in Japan, because that's affecting the global financial market. So if something's happening in Asian markets overnight, Bitcoin can react to that because it's a 24/7 market or over the weekend, whereas stocks kind of have to wait, futures have to wait in those periods that the markets are closed.
Yeah. And I want to address from Patton McCrotch here. Why wouldn't JP Morgan and other big players just create their own blockchain and coin? JP Morgan has been working on something called Onyx blockchain for quite some time, but they're actually looking to roll out their own integration of crypto on the base ecosystem, which is kind of out of the blue. DCA and Praise with a great follow-up to that because they're a bank, not a software company, and they should just outsource it and not need to manage it. That is something where it's like, the innovation of the private sector is now finding its footing, some of these projects with the major institutions. But when I said it's going to be a selective alt season, I meant it. 5 months ago, 6 months ago, I absolutely meant it. Because when I saw Avalanche, ICP, all of these things really, really get beat down. There was very few altcoins at that point that I could really feel comfortable in the long term for. And now we're at that situation. Let's go actually look at the blood on the streets here. The best visual of this is Coin 360 for me. This is how I like to start my day. Let's go check out what we're dealing with here. Let's pull it up. So, what is this? Get out of my face. Get out of my face. All right. So, Tron is up. ADA big down. Chainlink big down to 13 something. SWE big down. The only thing that's doing well is Zcash. Oh my God. Zcash, money laundering, escape hatch potential. Zcash did not have fun with Wintermute either. It was an unfortunate thing to see this. Wintermute sends their regards for Zcash. I actually want to go check out the chart here because I know that there's a lot of people looking for some sort of at least escape pump or return to equilibrium on Zcash. Let's go check this out here. Bam. And this thing just took the world by wildfire. So I have to look at it. Yeah, we got some work to do here. We got some work to do. Let's go to the larger time frames, say the weekly. Jesus. Murphy, Mary, and Joseph.
Yeah.
That is not great. I think there's plenty of room to
pulling back. Look at the pump.
Yeah, I mean, this is why it's pulling back. It goes.
Here's a question for you guys, everybody out there. When you see a price action like that, you're like, you want to jump in when it's already doing that. Just think back to when you were a kid, or if maybe you just saw these videos on YouTube. When somebody shoots a bottle rocket, does the bottle rocket that you buy from Walmart go to space? No, it goes up very fast and then just drops all the way back down to earth.
Mm. I want to bring up and kind of look at this basket of ideas here. So Avalanche, Ondo, Render. I was shorting Render at like $1.60 yesterday and it felt gross. Made me money. Right. Render's continuing to fall down. Avalanche falling down very aggressively from that. Can we snoop through? Do you have these charts? Maybe you want to snoop through? I can, because I think these are worth looking at. Ondo is on my ticker behind me. And every single time I come into the office, it's down. Like, it doesn't seem like good news is helping Ondo at all right now, which is kind of concerning for me. So,
but you know what? I feel like I just saw this. I wanted to share this so we can look at those charts as well. BNB looks like it might be setting up for something, longer term sustainably, because this is has literally doubled in the last month and a half. In terms of the distributed asset value, all the assets they have on the BNB chain. And so this is why price is kind of flat and going down. This is the kind of thing where everybody goes, but price is down. Price is only a function of what the speculative market says. You also want to look at the fundamental things that are not yet reflected in price. So when you're seeing a sort of bullish divergence, if you will, like this on BNB, where they're growing, 100% growth in terms of the asset value on chain, but the price is down, that means there's a lot to come when the market does open back up. But let's look at Avalanche. And by the way, Bitcoin, we're still at a higher low, 2 consecutive higher lows. If this holds here, this would be phenomenal to break out. If this does lose, potentially come back down to the $80,000, 81,000, we, as a bull near term, basically by Christmas, we'd like to see this bounce, form a large W, and then go. If we do lose that, we've already talked about the levels down here in probably the 74 to 68,000, somewhere in here. Yep. But I'm still a bull, even when the price coming down here. I'm still a bull in 2026. Now, in terms of Avalanche, let's look at Avalanche, because it's been it was the leader, and now it's just running away back to the downside. What do I mean by leader? Remember when we were talking about this pump here and nothing else moved? That probably could have been a signal to us. In some ways, we're like, this moved, everything else is going to move. But what happened? Nothing else moved. This basically took that. People took profits right in this liquidity zone, and then boom, rejected. And what do I mean by nothing else moved? Where's Ondo? We have that same shape right here. This is that same point in Avalanche where it went up. And we were wondering, is this a signal that these other coins are going to pump and then drop? The fact that no other coin moved was probably an indication. See, this is that same point right here. and it just fell back down. The liquidity dried up. Retail's exhausted. There's some FUD, a little bit of FUD or fear in the Avalanche ecosystem. But as it stands right now, and I haven't drawn any charts on this in probably 2 months, this line has been here. Bounce, 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 rejection, bounce, kind of potential bottom. But if the market drops out, then this is going to go further down. We do have some bullish divergence coming right in here in the money flow. But yeah, I mean, if this drops further, I'd be looking for it to come back down into the $9 to $10 range right there.
Yeah. I have shows with one of the developers, like the original guy behind Avalanche. Even he is pissed. And really it's at a point where if they lose about $12.50, it's a fast track to $8. Fast track to $8. I got to get this guy out of the chat. This person is deported, but I got to use this.
You are banned.
Person I just banned, they are deported forever. Now, altcoins, total 3. What is this chart that you're looking at? Is this minus the Stablecoins?
Yeah, it's total. That's the total. The total 3. There's all, everything other than Bitcoin and Ethereum, but subtracting Stablecoins. So you're not seeing. And look at this. When you take out Stablecoins, we never broke to a new all-time high in altcoins. In fact, we even had a lower high here. It came back down. This still feels, like an early market setup before the major run, or we have the worst 2026 ever because everybody just kept holding on, and then ends up selling at 99% down.
Yeah. I want to talk about Ondo a little bit more too. Because it's not like it's been all bad for me. So I publicly announced I was buying Ondo at 38.39 cents, right about here. I did not catch it on release. I was not buying it in the 3 cents, the 10-cent zone. But when I got in for 39 cents and then saw this thing rise, I didn't sell this pump. I sold about $1.85, $1.86 right here. But I kept some on the sideline, right? I kept a moon bag because it was a bag that I was comfortable letting house money work for me if there was more money to be made on it, right? But protected the investment that I made into it originally here by selling it at $1.85. And then when I saw it bounce its head against the ceiling of about $1 3 times, a 1, a 2, a 3. On this final bump of the head, I did get out at $1. Just to make sure I had at least more than 100% gain on what the tokens were that I bought originally. Since then, it has fallen down very, very aggressively. And the idea behind Ondo, it made sense at a time, but really when I got to thinking about it in this zone is like, maybe NASDAQ and all the stock exchanges are just learning how Ondo is tokenizing, and they're going to go ahead and do it themselves to a pretty large degree.
So
right?
somebody asked and said, wait, when was Ondo $1.85? Almost a year ago today. And it was for about 2 weeks where the price just, it went from
nuts.
December 3rd, we broke $1.24. And by December 16th, it was $2.16. And then again, by the end of the month, it was back down to $1.30.
Yeah. There was a good pump and there was a lot of excitement and there was a lot of outlook for it, but it's a thing where, we really have to be reasonable about our gain expectations on these projects. Maybe you're going to have the 100xer. Maybe you're having a 100xer, but I would rather have my investment double or triple, take out that initial investment, and then the moon bag that's left behind has the opportunity to 100x. But you know what? If I start to see the chart roll over like Ondo did at I think this is like the September 25 moment where it really started to roll over. When we start to see things like this, it's quite a bad sign. Now, where this thing actually looks like it's likely to tap is around 32 cents. It looks like it's going to tap the bottom end of this October 10th liquidity pool wick, right?
It looks like a giant. This is the chart that shows us if you continue to hold, you're going to go negative, right?
Yes. Yeah. It's a giant middle finger, and I can joke about this because this is a head and shoulders and measure. I'll just be reasonable here. I mean, we don't want to see this by any means, but Jesus. I mean, you're going to owe 22 cents if that signal plays out there. So, thoughts on
Just so everybody, if somebody makes any comment that's not possible, you don't understand humor.
Oh, and I saw a comment here because I actually got to cover this today. Where are you at? I'm from Minnesota.
You are banned.
Unbelievable. No, I can't do that. I'm not going to ban you. Their legislators already banned you from having a good time in Minnesota. But I think the season for Christmas is going to be very icy. And I think it's going to be very clean. So I have hope for that degree. I'm sorry you're out there in Minnesota. I have an insane story about the food packing plants in Minnesota that I'm not going to bring up. But look up what foods manufactured and then make your decision from there. Just look at the food manufacturer.
You can also, if you want to, just for shits and giggles, entertainment, just research a little bit, of the news that's coming out about how Ilhan Omar funded her campaign.
Yeah, that's insane. That was insane news. I want to go find this Flux news as well, because Flux has seeming to got some pump to it, right? And to have a pump during an environment like this makes me take notice. So let's go check out the chart first. It's at 11 cents. It's up by about 5% on the day, but it looks like it stopped the bleed at about 10 cents here. And this has been indeed a bleed. All right. This has been a very, very painful time. Flux holders. I wonder what the big deal with the news is. So let's hop on over here. Go to Flux, Decentralized Cloud. The guy who is with this organization, super based, and I like him a lot. I was in and out of this project at like 50 cents. When it lost 50 cents, I lost like 10%, and I just had to batten down the hatches. Glad I did. Let's see here. Today marks a defining milestone. Flux ecosystem rollout of proof of useful work V2. We already know that. Now they're rolling out a new era of deploying on Flux Cloud on the horizon. Okay. So they're rolling out more advancements here. One thing that was kind of on the background that I hoped would come for Flux is an AI verification tool from Flux, the blockchain, where it tags what is fake and what is real on the blockchain there. That'd be kind of nice.
You know what? I feel like if anybody's going to do it, I feel like that would be something that would come out on X, because it seems like Elon is, I don't know, that would be phenomenal on social media. If you had an auto report that's like, this is altered by or created entirely by AI.
Yeah. Elon's up to some stuff too. It's he's got SpaceX beginning a secondary share sale at an $800 or $800 billion valuation. So coming out of the gates with nearly $1 trillion valuation on SpaceX, making it more valuable than OpenAI and the most valuable private company in the world. People are already complaining that Elon Musk has this $1 trillion pay plan. You're really going to hate him when he's worth $5 trillion. And a lot of our space flight is running through SpaceX. And
to Elon's credit, anybody that has that argument, I think is backwards, and they don't understand how any market works, because his $1 trillion pay plan isn't, hey, you're going to get paid $1 trillion. His $1 trillion pay plan is, if X, Y, and Z happen, milestones by this date, and basically he's driving an insane amount of market share value for every shareholder, then he gets that play. I mean, I feel like if every CEO and every board executive out there were to be really weighed against their actual metrics, maybe they do get insane pay packages, but that also would only be because they're delivering huge value to the economy and to their shareholders as well.
Right. It's a reasonable thing to think about. He's like the Howard Hughes of technology of our time.
Oh, dude, I just found out something.
What's that?
We are both tards, apparently. Right on.
People's emotion. You're an emotional sissy boy. Okay, there you go. It's people's emotions right now are pathetic, because you come to crypto for the volatility, the upside, and top blast and come call me a tard. I've literally started my channel when Bitcoin's 15K. Bought my first Bitcoin at 4K. Ethereum $180. Chainlink at $1.90. I'm laughing at this dip. and I'm going to look for where the bottom is. Absolutely. So if you're new here, maybe sit down and learn something. Now we have
one could have called us bottom hunters.
what? Bottom lunchers? Bottom lunchers?
Hunter.
Oh my God. This is interesting concept here, Kelly. So this is from Faju from Blockworks. I think people are getting too caught up on the semantics of the layer one debate on whether the value of these things on a cash flow basis or on a monetary store of value basis, and missing the fact that we have an excess glut of infrastructure and not enough interesting and compelling things to do on it. As it stands, any marginal improvement in blockchain infrastructure hasn't led to a marginal improvement in innovation on top of these rails. Like when you really boil it down, we do most of the same things on an ETH layer 2, a Solana, a newer generation chain like Aptos or Sweave. And even if this is happening on these new generational tokens, Aptos hit an all-time low. And the new ones are like Monad, who's gotten its ass absolutely kicked recently, right? Monad token released in a bad time. I think it's valid to sound the alarm bells a little bit that we've either overbuilt the infrastructure required to do what is useful on crypto rails, or we need to really lock in innovation on top of these crypto rails. Kelly, do we have too many damn tokens, right? Because it seems like there's 50 different tokens to solve the same problem. Is that a problem in your opinion?
I don't call it a problem. I think there's a dilution of attention and dilution of capital because of that. And I forget, was it Drunken Miller that said it? I can't remember. There's a famous market economist and investor that says the thing that ruins most people's portfolios is diversification, which is a weird thing to say, right? Because diversification means you don't truly believe in the asset or assets that you're holding. So really, really focusing in your capital into something that you really believe in. Bitcoin would be one of those that you should do. And in addition to that, I think Ethereum. But then when you look at, the slate outside of that, we've got Solana, we've got Chainlink, we got Avalanche. I mean, the list is, 26, 30 million coins long. I do think there's too many. However, I think the market is still finding its footing, and there's new technology, especially with the advent of AI, that although this was groundbreaking 3 years ago, all of a sudden it's like, well, we learned the issues with that, and you see all these other coins launching. I do think there's going to be a very mass culling of the ecosystem over the next 5 years, where probably 80% of the coins that are out aren't going to exist or going to have basically zero transaction volume on them.
Yeah, I mean, it's the .com bubble had many big gains and many massive losses. And shout out, it looks like we got raided on Rumble by DYOR Media. Thank you very much for raiding our channel, brother. Shout out to you. I appreciate that. Now we got to move on to this story because there's a selective altcoin future, in my opinion. I don't listen to Dan Gambardello, if anyone's asking. I thought I saw it. I don't listen to the guy. No, he's like the emotional plea, like, oh, it's so wrong. And and it's just like only talking about Cardano and stuff. I just couldn't stand it.
What are you talking about? I listen to Dan throughout, like, I won't say regularly, but fairly often throughout the month. And he talks about other things in Cardano.
He does?
Yeah. I mean,
that's the only thing. What else does he talk about other than Cardano? Because I'm curious. Like
Ethereum, Bitcoin, Avalanche. Like he does give the broader altcoin ecosystem.
Why was he so emotional about Cardano then? Because I saw that Cardano video. It's emotional, like.
Well, he's been a pretty big figurehead in the Cardano community for 4 or 5 years, and so. I didn't see that particular video, but I think, I think he's got a pretty big investment in Cardano as well and still believes in that ecosystem. So he was probably just speaking to the audience that is there for the Cardano stuff, but he does talk about broader things as well.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, it's something like Cardano I view as an ethics play in crypto, and it seems that ethics don't pay in crypto, what is the shirt? Check out the shirt. So this is the Drew Chapo Christmas edition. And I'm rocking it. I like this shirt quite a bit. So I want to check out something that I think does have staying power right now. Aerodrome.
Sure.
It replaced Maker on Grayscale's DeFi fund. and became the 4th largest holding. That is a big deal. It also had Robinhood listed yesterday. There should be no doubt that Aerodrome is a DeFi blue chip. And for Aero, it's still day one. Now, when we look at different protocols and what's actually got staying power, Aerodrome, I have an interest under or at 50 cents. Yes, I will be buying Aerodrome at or below 50 cents. I think Aerodrome is going to be around for quite some time, but I want to go check out what the DeFi total value locked looks like on this protocol right now. And then I'm going to go check out Morpho. So TVL not exploding, but actually holding a pretty decent line right at about this level of 400 mil. It's currently at 440 mil. The reason why I feel very strongly about Aerodrome, it is one of the main hubs of liquidity and swaps for the base ecosystem.
And Coinbase bought $100 million worth of Aero on open market. Was that last year? So they did. So they've got a vested interest as well to help to support that ecosystem and deliver more base functionality, which they are. Remember, that's a great point also that you just made, because December 17th, there's a major upgrade coming to the Coinbase ecosystem that I think is going to very much involve what they're doing with base and how those things all integrate. So it could be very big for Aerodrome.
Yeah, JP Morgan is out taking a stand on a limb here, saying that Aerodrome is worth the base ecosystem is worth $34 billion, and Aerodrome's total amount of market cap is much lower than that. And like I said, Aerodrome is a liquidity hub for the base ecosystem. So let's actually go check it out
right now, like 600 million or something.
Let's check this out here. So the market cap, it's 590, right? So 590
on my screen.
And now JP Morgan is looking at base as a whole being worth $34 billion. One of the main pillars of the ecosystem is only sitting at a $600 million market cap right now. This gives me upside potential. Aerodrome has defended these lows much better than the vast majority of altcoins out there. And yes, I took profits on this one too. I bought it at 18 cents, G'd it twice above $2, bought it 3 times at 50 cents so far. And I'm going to be getting involved with the DeFi in this as well. Now I got to go check out Morpho because Aerodrome has just been great to me. Aerodrome has been great to me. It was an early call, and it's seems to have some staying power. Now Morpho, look at that TVL. Jesus, Murphy, Mary, and Joseph. All right, let's overlay the price with this because I know the price came down aggressively today. And this might actually have opened up a massive, massive divergence for opportunity here. So the price coming in at about $1.20 right now. I talked a little bit about my Morpho game plan yesterday. As you know, I am.
Dude, and even guys, Morpho isn't just a coin. I beg each and every one of you out there, realize that the crypto coins or tokens or crypto, whatever you're holding, it's not just a tradable asset. Everybody gets so lost in the speculative aspect of if a price will go up or down on the coin you hold. Ask yourself, and if you cannot explain, say you hold 4 coins. If you cannot explain what that coin does, if you don't understand its tokenomics, how many tokens there are, what's the supply, what's the emission schedule, meaning the new coins, inflation, coins being released, all that sort of stuff. And also, what is its function? And what is your projection on that functions being integrated and utilized, driving adoption? Morpho, yeah, it's in the base ecosystem, but even people that are prominent, rich as a mofo people like Gary Cardone basically, rather than, because he doesn't work, he's an investor, and he's basically gone all in on Bitcoin with some other very small other investments, but almost all in on Bitcoin. He doesn't sell Bitcoin. He's now basically taking small bar lending using Morpho. He uses Morpho to take loans against Bitcoin to basically have pocket money throughout the. So this is going to be a prominent increase in growth as these big market players realize that they can make an investment and then also give themselves spending cash without drawing taxable events, taking profit. This is the difference between rich people and poor people.
I see that chat's a little upset about, I need to talk to you guys about something. So I hear and am told about bullish projects every single day. The only reason why I have made money in 2025 and 2024 is by using my gut intuition, being a skeptic. I am skeptical about Cardano, okay? And I have the right to be skeptical about Cardano. I have the right to sell a project if it's not breaking out into levels that I would easily expect it to do so. Cardano was tweeted about by the president and it only hit $1.30 and then immediately dumped afterwards. After I saw that, the moment I saw a dollar escape point, I took it. I'm not sorry for doing that. I'm not sorry that people didn't listen to me, that they use their emotions and they want to go down with the ship. That's fine. I want to make money in crypto and I have to do it in a public manner. And I am absolutely not going to be shamed into holding something that is consistently losing people money. So let me just be very clear about that. I'm sorry, Kelly. I just had to clear it up there. This is looking good. Morpho is right behind Aave still, and they still have $6 billion in TVL. The fees on the 7-day time frame, each week they're making nearly $3 million in fees. And I actually feel like maybe just consistently DCAing into Morpho, honestly. Like I was able to snag it for 87 cents.
That is sub $500 million market cap.
Right.
What is Aave's market cap?
Let's go look at it.
See, this is the type of diligence you all need to be doing. Not just, is the price good? Is the price high? Do I like the coin? Did I hear a KOL talk about it? All that is nonsense. Go look on DeFi Llama, look at the transaction volume, the TVL, the fees generated, and then compare that to other assets that have already made massive headway. So this one is what? $2.8 billion.
Yeah. $2.8 billion on Aave. And then you compare to Morpho. Where is that tab at? So that's 2.8 billion on Aave. And then we got to go look at Morpho for comparison's sake at around 480 million. Their overall TVL, Aave is slightly higher in terms of that, but actually it's lining up pretty reasonably. But I think Morpho is well undervalued because Aave is better known and there's more people willing to speculate on this. Morpho is number 96 in terms of market cap, and there is tons of absolute dosh in front of Morpho that will go to zero. And Morpho is a product that makes revenue that people use for loans that will rise through these trenches. So that's how I see it. Not too worried about the general market right now, but oh God. Did you see this, Kelly?
Oh yeah.
Did you see this? Wait. He lost the fight.
Yeah, it's our
Jay
boy.
Chain's lost the fight. And I'm actually sad about this. He
was fighting there. He was getting in there.
I knew that he was in trouble when I saw the guys. When you got a mohawk and you're that cool and collected, I mean, watch out, buddy. Watch out.
He looks like he just got off the front lines of Chechnya. I'm not fighting a Chechen warrior. I'll tell you that.
And I put in I put in 3 applications to CFN so far. I put in another one. This is interesting data. The data supports one simple point. Bitcoin changed money. Stablecoins change payments. And tokenization will change markets. I'm going to be expanding on what stablecoins are changing in terms of monetary policy in a blockchain basement video. And what I see happening is an enslavement of stablecoin firms to make sure that they are 100% backed by US debt, by treasuries. So this makes crypto here to stay because it's a needed buyer. But the ethos of decentralized freedom money, escaping the US dollar type mindset is really, really diminishing with it. And this is what, like I was talking about, Zcash, and I don't own any Zcash. I'm not buying Zcash, but I want privacy coins to do good. And that is one thing I'm hopeful for Cardano to do. I am hopeful that the Midnight token gets some love. And I'm probably going to buy some Midnight token. I'm probably going to buy some Midnight token just to see, not too much. And, you know, it could go to zero and hurt me again. And I could be hurt again by Cardano. But I want to see privacy tokens survive.
Can I do a little rant on that real quick?
Yeah, please.
All right. So, U.S. government, if you're out there, there is absolutely zero reason why the Department of Justice should be going after people like the Samurai Wallet, those people that they're basically put pressure on them, froze their capital so they couldn't even mount a great defense because they were basically offered a code for people to use for privacy, much like cash is private. What the hell is wrong with somebody delivering code so that you can basically have privacy in the way you spend your money? Now, is there going to be nefarious action? Sure. But if that's an issue, then why the hell is somebody or companies like JP Morgan, who have over $40 billion in fines since 2000, known to have like hundreds of billions of dollars that they're basically protecting and banking for money, of basically money laundering for the Mexican drug cartels, South American drug cartels, fraud, misrepresentation, and all they get is a slap on the wrist. But it's 40 billion in fines. They make so much money. That'd be like me getting a speeding ticket. And you know what? That's only going to cost me, 50, 80, 100 bucks. I can still afford to speed, and I'm still going to periodically because it doesn't affect and impact my lifestyle. Why go after people that are basically utilizing the premise of freedom of speech, which is also code? It's the same thing as the NRA with guns, okay? It's the way people use those, but guns are not the issue. It's the people using them incorrectly. Go after people that are using services incorrectly, not people that are creating the ability to have privacy.
Absolutely. Well said. And there's other words, Jeffrey E., right? They banked
Jeffrey
E very heavily.
Banking, yeah.
Right. No big deal. This is an interesting question, Kelly. This is crypto related. So Tau or AVAX better long term? I'm going to shoot for the hip. I say Tau. What do you say?
Tau.
Okay.
It's got some Bitcoin principles baked into it, the way its tokenomics work, the total number of tokens, the halving schedule, but also it's an AI infrastructure play. So it's facilitating an entire AI economy of both people that need AI services and AI development, as well as you requesting development, but also the tradable aspect and speculating on what's happening with the AI market. I think Bittensor is, in my opinion, probably the best AI play out there. And they have sub ecosystems within the Bittensor network each one, there's probably 8 that I know of right now that individually, if it was a market in the traditional marketplace, traditional finance world, they'd be worth multi-billion dollars individually, these subnets that they have. So I think the price is very unreflective of the true value of what Bittensor is, and especially where it's going. So I think it's, for me, Bittensor is a clear stack.
Yeah. And looking at the chart, I might actually get my preferred entry point on this bad boy. Because I was looking at Bittensor when it was like $40 and $50, and it struck me as a useful AI coin, not an AI capable coin. It's an AI coin that actually has use case. Kelly explained the tokenomics very eloquently. It's got a max supply of 20 million, currently circulating around 10.4 million tokens with a long-term release schedule. And look at how it's defended $220, like over and over again, even with the massive trade war crash outs and the Japanese yen carry trade, all that jazz. It's defended this level very, very heavily. And Tau is one of those Craigslist misconnections for me, because I was telling people about it and it was on my to buy list here when it was flopping and groping in this, kind of like $40 to $100 zone. I didn't buy it. So now I've seen extreme structure strength in Tau. I've seen integrations roll out that are stronger. I've seen Grayscale lean into it more and more. And I'm actually looking at this chart. I actually got to add this to my my wish list here.
A great person to follow. All of you. I'll actually pull it up to show you guys. A great person to follow. Where is my X? Exit out of that. Mark. I think it's Mark Jeffries. Mark Jeffrey.
I want to find someone that's a good
This guy right here. This is a great person to follow. He is super knowledgeable in the Bittensor Tau ecosystem, and also does a great deal of updates on everything going on in the ecosystem. Also does some great interviews and stuff. Great person to follow. That's at Mark Jeffrey right there. And the other thing I wanted to show before we do wrap out here in a few minutes is, as bullish as I am on 2026, we are ultimately very bearish right now in the near term, because the price, Bitcoin's price, is well below some very critical key metrics. And that is the short-term holder cost basis, which is this line right here that's flashing. That's the average price of every coin that's been bought and traded and sold and transacted and whatever, held less than 155 days. That's a key metric. When price is above it, tends to be very bull market behavior. We had a little chop below that here, but then slingshot. We're the furthest below it now that we've been this entire cycle. However, this is very reminiscent of what we saw in this basically mid-cycle crash from 64,000 down here all the way to 30,000, over 50% drop. And then we went from 30,000 up to 69,000 here. The question is going to be, do we get another double top like this in 2026? Or does this shape continue to persist to the upside as this adoption comes in? But as it stands right now, if we do get a bounce here, especially with how fearful the market is, if we do get a bounce here, you got to watch this 200-day moving average, short-term holder cost basis, 21-week moving average. This is basically in the $103,000 to $116,000 region. This is that critical juncture. Crypto Crank has also highlighted as well. If we push up here and get rejected, we may be in for some more pain.
Yeah. I think I got to bring up my chart here, because talking about where we're going to go from here. And we also are probably, shout out for the super chat, bro, Danny. He wants to look at near protocol. I'll bring up Bitcoin just because some things have definitely changed since the last bull and bear market. So our electrical cost for Bitcoin in this time frame of the last pullback right here was $19,000. So the electrical cost to mine a Bitcoin in this zone was $19,000, mind you. Even when Bitcoin was worth, 40, 50,000 bucks, we fell below that electrical cost. We fell below that electrical cost by a good degree. Right at that's that green line, the electrical cost at the time, and we fell below it by 20%. Currently, the electrical cost of Bitcoin is $70,000, right? So could we drop below by 20% from there? Feasible, but not likely. I think more so $65,000 to $70,000 is a stronghold Helm's Deep type defense point for Bitcoin's price. And as it sits right now, as Kelly highlighted earlier on in the show, these are indeed a series of higher lows. And the midpoint of this candle being shown at $89,000. The last move that we've experienced over the last 24 hours was something we warned you about. The plates check in the guts of this W pattern. Now, it comes to, does the weekend chaos have the juice to push this thing back up? Because a lot of times when I've seen us go into the weekend on bearish movements, the Sunday pump came and pushed it back up, and then Wall Street was caught chasing their tail around. So we'll see where that goes. But I really feel like basically people are selling right now, and we are heading into 2026 where the U.S. government can either inject liquidity and start up what's called the New Deal, a infrastructure play, building out data centers, nuclear power, inject liquidity into banks that are $500 billion underwater right now, or they can act fiscally responsible and let thousands of banks go under and be received by the FDIC, JP Morgan, and Bank of America.
Well,
that's
other thing to consider is, remember, right now, as scary as you think it is, whales are stacking massively right now. The accumulation trend score for Bitcoin approaches 1. What the hell does that mean, Kelly? This signals intense buying pressure from major investors. This metric tracks whether large holders are net buyers or sellers. Values near 1 indicate strong accumulation. This is basically looking specifically at whales, wallets that have huge amounts of Bitcoin, the activity from major players. That's the benefit of on-chain data within crypto. You can see the activity of every different wallet size. And when you have a major player, and not just one, but across the board, the trend in general is basically approaching this very dark blue level. This is when these whales are really stacking in. Look at this bottom here, stacking in. Oh, it went down, but then this is all preparatory before the continued run here. So I think we need to be a little bit patient. There's a lot of things on the horizon with Japan, with the Fed interest rates, with what's going on with the biggest financial behemoths in history, getting situated to start having bankers sell Bitcoin. We have actually salesmen to get people, $30 trillion worth of capital just got access to Bitcoin in the last year. So I think we need to be patient here. And if it dips, we should be super thankful for it.
Absolutely. And I completely understand the fear out there. We're heading into the weekend. I think it's important to take a breath. Okay. If you're feeling absolutely overwhelmed with emotion, maybe understand that we are investing. I am investing publicly into one of the most volatile asset classes on the planet. Yes, it's turned out really good for me, but only because I've been here for a long time. It's the only reason that I was able to make a substantial change to my life. The positioning of my family and my mindset in escaping the rat wheel is by time in the market. Everyone's asking what I think the next year is going to look like. I think that the US government is going to choose scam and print more over a Great Depression 2.0. That is my personal understanding and expectation for 2026. Could we go down? Yeah. I handled all of my investment. Oh, Jesus. It's a time where people are upset, Kel. And, it's almost like a Dr. Drew, Dr. Phil that's coming out right now. But I can see it. People need it. And, a lot of the blockchain basement, we've been around since freaking, what was it, $15,000 Bitcoin when the basement started, right? And now we're sitting here looking at the chat go nuts about a crash down to $80,000 or a crash down to $70,000. I look at these buying opportunities. If you're not into DeFi or trading and actively making tether along the way, you're doing it wrong, because you need to have buying power for the dips. That's where you find the rip. You don't get massive upside without buying extreme lows and taking a chance. So, Dr. Kelly, shout out to you, Kalatri. Kalatri's actually been with us in the arena shows as well. So huge shout out to you. Guys, it's going to be okay. Calm down. And we will be back next week. I think that it's going to be all fine. And if you're not in the Discord, you're doing yourself a disservice. I really implore you to get in the Discord. Many take profits were hit, and it didn't make sense. I made money off an XRP short at what should have been the XRP low. This is the trading chat Kelly's going through right now. All of these trades come through. People are making money. We're having a good time. We're smiling. We're enjoying more tether. We're choosing what to buy with it. Maybe you want to lock it up. Maybe you want to earn yield on it. The choice is yours. But please, for the love of God, take advantage of this. TJ, myself, we worked very hard to cross-check this trading quant before we implemented him, and he is absolutely crushing it. So the link's down in the description. All you got to do is sign up with us on either Blowfin or 2Bit. It's as easy as pie. Sign up at 2Bit. You get into the Discord for free. And with that, I love you guys. Kelly, I think we ate too much Mexican food, and I bid you adieu.
We just wanted to take a quick second to shout out our sponsor, Arculus. They are a cold storage hardware wallet, helps you secure all of your digital assets for the future. Just tap this thing to the back of your phone and boom, you're in. We wouldn't be able to do this without them, but also wouldn't be able to do this without you guys, the Disco fam. You've supported us a lot over the years. If you want to support the channel now, just use the code DC20. It gets you 20% off this card. It's the #1 way you can support this channel going forward. Thank you for your support. We'll see you at the top.